Hello and welcome. My name is Nahid Kazaza, and I'm so excited to share with you our Boundaries Bootcamp review and overview video series. We did a Boundaries Bootcamp at the end of 2025, and it was so popular. And I kept promising the students that I would make a video series of everything we went over in the whole program so that they could review it. But also, I think if you weren't part of that group, if you're going through this series, you'll get a nice preview of what we go over in the Boundaries Bootcamp, and you can work through the exercises yourself. The first thing I want to share with you about boundaries and about what this entire series is going to be about is that boundaries are about protecting yourself from other people's behavior. And often it feels like when you get into setting boundaries, what you're really trying to do is change other people's behavior. And that's not what boundaries are about. The more you try to make somebody change by telling them they have to change, the more they tend to escalate that behavior because they're feeling controlled and manipulated and trapped. And so I think the first thing that you'll learn in this program is, wait a minute, how do I protect myself from someone's behavior without trying to control their behavior? And if you can get that, you can get the majority of what we're going to be going over in the class. The class is going to follow an arc. In the beginning, we're going to give you some very specific things that you can use, tools, tactics, to become more aware of your boundaries, to communicate your boundaries. We'll have some scripts. I have a model that you can use to help you understand boundaries and detect when you're crossing boundaries or when someone else is crossing your boundaries. We'll talk about how to have the conversations that you need to have with people. We'll talk about some cool ways you can set boundaries without even having to have conversations, because I know sometimes that's the scariest part. And we're going to be doing some deeper work. So we're going to talk towards the end of the class about needs and beliefs and how those needs and beliefs tend to impact your ability to set boundaries. Sometimes they can interfere with your ability to really understand where your boundaries are. And sometimes they can interfere with your ability to set those boundaries, even if you do understand where they are. For example, you may have a rule in your head that you can never say no to an authority figure. And so if an authority figure requests that you do something inappropriate or simply something that's not aligned with your values, you may not believe that you can say no. So some of the work that we touch on in this class also touches on the deeper work. And you'll get some clarity over how to begin that deeper work. And although the deep work is a little bit of a longer journey, every little bit of clarity you get in that way is going to increase your strength and your ability to set boundaries. And the more that you understand boundaries and learn how to set them effectively, the better all of your relationships are going to be. Your relationship with your boss, if you're a boss, your relationship with your team, your relationship with your spouse or significant other, that's the one that usually is most affected. Your relationship with your children, your relationship with your parents. Those are the biggies. Anybody significant in your life, you probably have some dynamics with. Those relationships are all going to get better. They're going to get cleaner. You're going to feel like you can be more of yourself in those relationships, and you're going to feel a lot less reactive in those relationships if you go through the program and practice with full engagement with everything that we do. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we did when we got people together for the Boundaries Bootcamp is we actually offered a workshop. And before people took the workshop, we gave them some pre-work. And the pre-work was to create what I might call a trigger log, but I'm calling a boundaries trigger log, which is a log of moments that you feel like boundaries were crossed. So what are boundaries moments? What are moments when boundaries would have been crossed? It's usually a moment in any relationship when you notice that things don't feel authentic. You may be feeling awkward. You may be feeling drained. You may be feeling reactive. So there's going to be some big obvious moments where you're reacting, you're really upset, those will be easy to capture and put in your log. But there's going to be other situations where you're having a conversation with someone and you just start feeling funny, like maybe guilty or a sense of obligation, or you start feeling embarrassed. Those are also moments to put in the log. And there may be other people in your life where just being around them either makes you anxious, so you find that you're a little bit on high alert, walking on eggshells around them, or they make you feel drained and you're kind of like, oh gosh, I really don't want to be around this person right now. Those are actually also boundaries moments. Now, if you have 2 weeks to sort of log these moments as you go, that's great, but you really only need about 10 entries to start seeing the patterns, and you don't want to overwhelm yourself with entries. So you could literally sit down and in an hour think through the past month of all the interactions and relationships that felt a little off, and you want to fill out the log. Every column in the log is there for a reason. Your immediate reactive thoughts, your feelings, what you did, all of those things will give you great information. And what we tend to do in the first class is we go over how to interpret that log. Good luck, have fun, and I will see you next time.